it is also very, very important for me to draw your attention to the fact that it is not in doubt that God intends to bless each and every one of us. And if you look at Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 18, it is clear that God gives you power to get wealth. Why? Because He made a covenant with you to do so. So there's no argument that the children of God are destined for greatness. But the same God says that because of lack of knowledge, we, His children, we perish, we struggle. When they are sharing the world's wealth, we don't even feature. Tonight, I believe that when we pray for the anointing, because I found in Isaiah chapter 11 verse 2 that whenever the Spirit of the Lord rests upon anyone, it is not about the shaking or being slain under the Spirit, but it's more of the substance derived from the Spirit of the Lord placed upon a human being. It gives you, the one who has the Spirit of God upon your life, it gives you the spirit of wisdom and understanding. It also gives you the spirit of counsel and might. It also gives you the spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord. But many of us have been told, unfortunately, that we do not have to make use of these important ingredients or elements that God has placed upon us. So what we have been told in the past, and up to now, a lot of us, that is why I said that scientists revisit hypothesis and they challenge it, revalidate it. So tonight, the diagnostics I'm doing is to let us actually revisit some of the things that we have been told and find out whether really it is working for us and whether that is what God intends to do for us. For instance, when we talk about world creation, as the name implies, it involves three important elements. It means that there cannot be creation without a creator. So number one, you need a creator. Number two, you need raw materials. And then number three, you also need process. Follow me, because I'm taking you to the kind of realm that will cause you to change your mindset. But that is where the battle is. That's the battlefield. The way you think. A man can never rise above the level of his own perception. So if you want to change and escape the poverty zone, then the first thing you should change is your mindset. And what you ought to know, contrary to what you have been told, our God do not provide instant solutions the way we think. It's a God that believes in process. Even Jesus Christ. He could have asked Jesus Christ to use just 2 seconds to come to this earth and finish his work within 2 seconds. He made him go through pregnancy for 9 months. he was giving birth to. He went through the principal stages of mankind. His youthful stage and everything. You can trace it. You can trace who gave birth to Jesus. God believes in the process, in the principle of process. But we have been told that if you want to have wealth, the mere laying of hands upon your life or pouring of oil upon your head could change and transform you to become wealthy. And I keep saying, it is not true. It is not true. I have never seen God giving cash before. I have never. If you are walking and you come across cash, it is not from God. I'm telling you, it is not from God. The only way God will give you cash, you know, where there is weakness, grace abounds. If indeed, at a critical moment, you need cash and there has to be divine intervention, God will use someone. You will never wake up and find cash under your pillow, no matter how you pray. If you are doubting, go into a serious spiritual venture. Fast for 120 days and 129. Looking for one city and pray and find out whether you find one city under your pillow. It's never done. God doesn't work that way. And I need to also emphasize that the principles underlining exchange of goods and services is no respecter of religion or faith. So anytime you open the radio, you open your TV, you go on social media, and you find anyone promising the doubling of cash, even in our statute books, in Ghana's jurisprudence, in the laws governing our nation, we have what we call charlatanic advertisements. It's a crime. If somebody tells you, put money in this basket, and the person is saying this in the name of the gospel, and that it shall be multiplied 100-fold. If you wake up the next day and you don't have that 100-fold, it could be a crime. In the kingdom, it is not untrue that the Bible tells us in plain language that when we give, we can have 100-fold. But when God is going to give you that 100-fold, what we fail to tell you is that you have to go through a process. You cannot change that process. That 100-fold will come by the application of divine wisdom. Make sure you don't become a victim of a charlatanic advertisement. We heard recently of teenagers killing their fellow teenager because some malam gave them that clue. But I want you to know, today as I speak, we do not have only malams being perpetrators of this charlatanic advertisement, even in the ministry, even in church, in some of their churches. All those who promise you, come and sow seeds against the backdrop that these seeds will transform you. It is the fact that seed time and harvest time will not cease. But we do not tell you the process. So what we are having currently people who are in the faith have taken lottery in church. We are not giving based on biblical principle, but we are giving with the intention of sticking local. Yes. Because if your faith is that you are coming to give so that it will be multiplied, it's a game of chance. But if you are giving, which I'll get to that level, so that we will apply knowledge. I want us to have an understanding of how the Holy Spirit works. Very gentle at the top. How God works. His yoke is easy, his burden is light. God is not that wicked. And I will show you something. In the world today, whilst we are all clamoring and we all want to live well, work in the world are making tremendous success. You will realize that whilst we're all complaining about the COVID-19, yes, whilst we're all complaining about the COVID-19, something interesting too was happening. And it is very, very significant to set the record straight, so that anytime you open your mouth to pray, anytime you enter into God's house, the auditorium, you appreciate where you are now and where you want to go to. Now, the world millionaires, there were top gainers and losers. Between last year, 2020, March, and 2021, this year, March, the statistics I'm giving you, we have the real-time one in April, but I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use the one as at the end of March, which is just a few days ago. And in the world's millionaires statistics, whilst we were all thinking that the world will come to an end, and we are complaining that companies are collapsing, businesses are failing, workers are being laid off. In America, I'm going to give you the top gainers and the top losers. Those who gained, who were able to raise fresh millionaires. Fresh. I'm not going to talk about the existing millionaires before the COVID. But COVID, as at March 2020, in less than a year, America added 2,251,000 millionaires. Did you hear that? Millionaires. Millionaires. More than the population, the voter population of Greater Accra, Central Region, and perhaps the Volta region. Millionaires, new entrants. Those who became millionaires within that year. In China, 1,281,000 new millionaires were added to the list. They grew by 22%. And then Switzerland had 246,000 millionaires. Listen, if we come here and we say we are looking for people who have just 10,000 Ghana cedis as their net worth, okay? And we are able to have 100 to be a breakthrough. But in the world around us, Canada was able to add 200,000 new millionaires. They grew by 14%. And Japan had 187,000. new millionaires in less than a year. Less than a year. In the COVID era. Chile, they lost by negative 11%. They lost 9,000 millionaires. People who were millionaires, but went out of the list in less than a year, 9,000. And South Africa lost 12,000 millionaires. How many millionaires do we have at Bubwashi? Now, the fact that South Africa lost 12,000 millionaires, they lost by 19, they went down by 19%, which means you have 81% who are still millionaires. Mexico went down by 6%. Brazil lost 81,000 millionaires. But this is not even more serious. Let's move on to the next slide. I'm coming to the billionaire section. So that you will see that when we talk about financial dominion, it's not a joke. Now, the top 5 billionaires. When I talk about top 5 billionaires, we are having the latest statistics showing that the United States of America has recorded 724 billionaires. And they are followed by China of 698 billionaires. Of course, China has 71 billionaires coming from Hong Kong. The third country, which is a revelation, India. They were able to beat Germany. India now has 140 billionaires. Billionaires. I'm talking about dollar billionaires. And Germany has 136 billionaires. Russia is the fifth with 117 billionaires. There are many more, but I'm only limiting my information to the top 5. Let's move on to the next slide. Now, very interesting. So that anytime we open our Bible, we want to pray. Anytime we want to preach. Anytime we want to talk about money. Anytime we want to talk about financial dominion. First, you should know who you are. And you should know your level. And you know whether you want to play. Because financial dominion is a realm. It's not just a slogan. It's a realm where you control money. You rule over money. You don't work for money. Your money works for you. You dictate what your money should do. That is a realm. That is when you can say you are having financial dominion. This expose represents the top 10 billionaires in the world. The first 10. And the first one, the richest man in the whole world as we speak now, is called Jeff Bezos. And he's worth $181.6 billion. The second one is Elon Musk. And Elon Musk occupies the second position with a total net worth of $163.7 billion. Then we have Bernard Arnault. He is from France. The first two are both from America. Jeff is the man behind Jeff Bezos. Bezos is the man behind Amazon. And Elon Musk is the man who has a dual degree, one in physics and the other in economics. If you hear of Tesla, he's behind it. Bernard Arnault is from France, the third position. If you hear of Christian Dior, those luxury things, he's behind them. Then you have the fourth person that is also known, very famous, the Bill Gates, Microsoft. Anytime you renew your license on your computer, Bill Gates is ready to receive. Now, the fourth is Bill Gates. The fifth is a believer that we all know, Warren Buffett. Now, the sixth is, Warren Buffett is worth 95.1 billion dollars. Then you have Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook man. He's behind Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg is worth $94.6 billion. Are you listening to the figures I'm making mention of? I'm not talking about 2 Ghana or 5 Ghana and the likes. And I want 2 people to come and give me 5,000. That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about Mark Zuckerberg having $94.6 billion. Don't open your mouth, and I can see you in your bedroom. The 7th position is occupied by Larry Ellison, the software man, Oracle. He is worth $90.6 billion. I'm just giving you the top 10, and I'm done. Then you have Larry Page and 2 friends, Larry Page and Sergey Brin. The 2 are behind Google. Both of them are worth $90.3 billion and $87.6 billion respectively. The reason for showing this expose is the last person. That is the 10th position. It's not the last though, but the top 10, he's the last there. It's a new entrance into the billionaire list. And he is called Daniel Gilbert. He started his mortgage company at the age of 22. On Thursday, I heard that the youth were having a service here. And they were coming to talk about startups, how to start business and so on. I said, yes, this is the way to go. I said, this is it. This is what we call midweek service. That will bring impact on the youth. So, Daniel Gilbert started his mortgage company at the age of 22. Currently, he has the largest mortgage entity in the U.S. Why am I taking you through all that? Because you can move on to the next slide. Accumulated by the 10 richest people in the world. In less than 1 year, during the COVID, when some of you went into hiding, when some of you thought that because of the COVID, nothing should work and nothing should happen, the first 10 people that I made mention of, richest people in the world, were able to accumulate or amass $567 billion. Indeed, I need to also draw your attention to the fact that the first 4 richest people in the world, that is Jeff Bezos, Elon Arnold, Bernard Arnold or Elon Musk and Bernard Arnold and Bill Gates, the 4 of them are no longer just billionaires. They are what they can be described today as centi-billionaires. Centi-billionaires, wouldn't it be that? You see, centi-billionaires represents those whose net worth are $100 billion and above. Now, when these people are making it and they are making their monies, what we have here is that we have a different paradigm and different mindset. Currently, China and the US and India and Japan and Germany and the UK, you know what they are competing? They are competing on how to increase their millionaire population in their respective countries and to move people from millionaire status to become billionaires. So the competition is no longer it used to be. Now it's about empowering your citizens, empowering your business folks, empowering the people in your geographical area to become millionaires and move on to become billionaires and move beyond being a billionaire to become centi-billionaires. In less than 1 year, the first top richest people were able to move $1 trillion. That is what they were able to bring on board. Whilst they are competing about how to raise millionaires, we are fighting amongst ourselves to keep people down and to kill businesses and to render NDC businesses toothless so that they cannot raise their heads. And when they come to power, they are also going to render MPP businesses same. And even within the MPP, those who have power to utilize, they are using it to intimidate their colleagues. So in Africa, whilst others are creating millionaires, we are concentrating on a young man that has resigned from some committee somewhere. So in our airways, you can pick the signals. And when you come to church, the devil that has been defeated 2,000 years ago, for which we celebrate Easter and talk about resurrection power, we are still beating that devil as if the word that Jesus did is of no use. So even when we have to face the real issues that Christ in you, the hope of glory, come and let us reason together. We seem to have lost it.